Hello, dear friends, my lovely audiences. Welcome to the East-West Show. Jack Chow with the ICT TV. Joining me today is my friend, Mr. Chris Nebe, a Hollywood director and an archivist, producer, screenwriter, and a political commentator. He is almost everything. Welcome, sir, to the show.
Ni hao, ni hao.
All right, good, very good. All right. After the election, I did quite a few shows talking about the election, do the aftermath, and do the after thinking of the election. And I'm so tired of it, so that I pick up another subject. Let's talk about social media. Join me talking about social media is my friend Chris Nebe. So, you want to start or you want me to start?
Social media has become a blessing and a curse. Social media has empowered ordinary people. It has shown them that they cannot trust their leaders.
Oh, so what?
So what? The elite's power corrupts justice. The elite's power dominance and enrichment requires the docile obedience of the masses. So, we the people have now rightfully concluded that if the rich can slash and burn politics and plunder and the planet and Mother Earth, then we the people can do the same and engage in slash and burn politics against the global elite. So the long-held prejudice by the elite is what we the people cannot be trusted. They don't like we the people. They like we the people if they are obedient and quiet. And as the election now showed, as far as we the people are concerned, when they're empowered, the elite assumes that we the people behave like a mob, displaying primitive urges. That's what they do.
Okay, all right. Well, such a long statement, man. Rather wish you're not reading a script. Just to join me in the conversation. Let's go back and forth, right? We're talking about social media. We mean some good part, some bad part. And being, if I quote from him, is double-edged sword, right? And the sword can get ourselves killed, that's for sure. And on the other hand, it does something positively to the society. And there are concerns to talk about, and concerns of everywhere. And we now start to see some negativity of social media. That is why we're putting together this show. Am I right?
Yes.
All right. So on one hand, we see social media doing lots of work, and you can get a message within the seconds to be seen, a message to be seen or read, or even a picture all over the world. Literally all over the world. If you have connection that much, you can do it within less than a second, right? So, and on the other hand, well, there goes the good things, there goes the bad things. What do you see as the positivity, the social media that has brought us?
As I said, the positive thing is that all of a sudden people can see things and hear things which they didn't have access to before, and the elite has realized that the so-called unwashed masses now threaten to bring down the carefully constructed walls of civilization and threaten to break up the power of the elite simply by using social media. And that is scaring those who control us. Because the first time...
Are you talking the positivity of social media? Or
I'm talking about the positivity of the social media is, I think, less important at this moment than the negative aspects of it. Respectively, the positive aspects are that the elite, I'm always talking of those who rule us, are now no longer can tell you what they think is right and feed you misinformation, because for the first time in history, ordinary people can comment, and their comments, whether they're good or bad, or professional or unprofessional, or lack any kind of substance, but they're out there. So that is scaring those who rule the so-called unwashed masses, because all of a sudden we the people have a voice.
Okay. Of course, you are skeptical about social media, and in some area, I'm skeptical too, but not in the overall denial, right? Because to me, social media has changed our day-to-day life, has made ourselves, brought us into a brand new era that we can communicate faster. We can communicate on a much broader sense, right? Those are positive things. Why don't you celebrate that? Why don't we just go ahead? Feel free to use it.
If you look at social media, the majority of it is total nothing. It's fluff. It has no value at all.
Okay, right. So any examples?
Plenty. I mean, people report what they eat, people report where they go, people report what they dress, who they met. Is that constructive? I don't think so. It may be nice to showcase your own life, but what is important about the real thing, what is important about social media is the fact that ordinary people and a growing proportion of voters understand that the global corporate elite has rigged the system to gain ever great riches and power. That is the good thing about the social media, because now, as you have just witnessed in America, the voters have reacted, and you now have a clearly divided country.
Of course, you can use the social network do big things. For example, you can use it for your campaign, right? In the meantime, you can also use it to expose some of the cases. I see people expose their lunch. Well, this is what I eat at lunch today, all right? And my boyfriend bought me a new dress, some kind of thing like that. Of course, nothing wrong with it. People are happy. If they are happy to do so, they are happy. May let them be happy. So there is nothing to talk about. Only the area that can be talked about or seriously criticized is the fact that you use the social media to spread fake information.
Yes.
To develop untrue stories.
Right.
And to lie. Do you agree with me on that area?
Yes, and the problem is that the fake news is also based on deliberate misinformation, which is being put out there and which travels around the globe in seconds. For the uninitiated, it is often very difficult to distinguish the fake from the real. That, I think, is the biggest problem, because you can unduly, and it is being done all the time, influence the people. And they're doing that on purpose, because this carefully created misinformation results in subsequent misunderstandings, which most of the time negatively influences we the people to see that they're being duped. It's very difficult to know the real from the unreal nowadays, and it's very carefully manipulated too. The social media is to a great degree with so-called fake news being manipulated by the elite. But there are enough young people, especially the young people who are very critical nowadays, who realize that, and they're sort of firing back. So actually the social media has become a political battlefield, so to speak, or a society battlefield where differences are being attacked. And
all right, okay. My dear friend, lovely audience, is today in the discussion talking about social media. Obviously, my friend Chris Neby took it very seriously, and there are serious items to talk about. Whereas versus with me, I'm okay with social media. I believe only if we, okay, let's take a moment out. We come back to continue. How about that? Stay with us. Hello, dear friends, my lovely fellow Americans. Welcome back to the show, Jack Xiao on the East West with ICT TV. Today we're talking about social media. I'm joined by a friend of mine, Mr. Chris Neby, a Hollywood producer and also political commentator, and talking about social media today. Right? I hold an optimistic attitude towards social media, and of course the social media also taking lots of criticism at the same time. So my friend may see the criticism side and I may see the convenience side whatsoever. So that's why we raise a discussion. To the fact that Donald Trump uses that much of his Twitter though, does the Twitter help him or not?
I do not wish to name any people. It's not my policy to critique anybody, but indeed social media did liberate ordinary people, and that is the fact, and that's important, because for the first time in modern history, ordinary people are not just the recipient of official sanctioned information, which is in this case the corrupt media, corrupt mainstream media, which is corporate owned, and the whole country is owned by corporations. Corporations are the so-called deep state. And the ordinary people are, it's no longer possible to speak down to them. They can answer back, and they do so vehemently. And that is a great opportunity for ordinary people to be able to vent their frustrations, because they didn't have that before. Before they read a newspaper, and the newspaper would tell them something, and that's it. They could write a letter, and then the newspaper would decide whether they would publish the letter or not. So
the source of information, obviously, with the help of social media, got suddenly widened.
not only that, it scares those who are in control of the people. It scares the elite, because all of a sudden, and they're fighting back by providing fake news and bullshit on the internet in order to further confuse the issue, because most of the people have other worries than to find out is that true. Most of people also don't have the education to understand sophisticated situations. It's not easy. It's a free-for-all, and that is actually very good, provided you can distinguish the fake from the real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. We people only grow to learn and grow, right?
Yeah.
So suppose if we go back many, many years when there was no social media, though, we still communicate. We communicate to grow, we grow to communicate, and so on and so forth. There's only a change of communication. That's what I see, right?
Yeah,
now,
but it's now much bigger, much
Yeah.
instant. And
the change
worldwide.
of the communication
Yeah.
make the communication so convenient. You can do lots of things that never possible before. So that's the only thing.
Yeah.
Now, all I see the problem, if I may call problem though, is that they make nonsense on the internet. They make nonsense on the social network, right? When they make nonsense though, the nonsense might include all kinds of fake story, fake news, and some slurred language, right? Some explicit pictures or images, or some blood, so on and so forth.
Yeah, not only that. You see, the elite, which you don't see, you never meet them, uses figureheads behind whom they conceal their power and their ambitions, and that makes them function as a so-called deep state. They prefer slick politicians, the ones who can sell wars as humanitarian intervention rather than profit-driven exercises in death and destruction. They can justify unsustainable plunder of natural resources as economic growth. The massive accumulation of wealth stashed away in offshore tax havens is considered fair outcome.
Are you
of
talking
a
about
free
certain
market economy? Yeah, but this is what you get. All
Yeah.
this is what
Are you
get
talking
on
a
the
certain
internet.
country or talking about the world as a whole?
I am talking at this particular moment because we're living in America. I'm talking about America because there it is very prevalent. For example, the gigantic bailouts of banks funded by ordinary taxpayers' tax dollars to stem economic crisis are considered necessarily austerity measures at the expense of those ordinary taxpayers. You know that after the 2008 financial crisis, all the banks were bailed out, hugely bailed out, but the money did not trickle down to the taxpayers whose money it was they were bailed out.
Okay.
So, and this is all these things are being very carefully and nicely sold to the people on the internet and of course also in the newspapers. But only now people don't read so much anymore newspapers, they read your phone as you're doing now with your phone in front of you. So this is the weapon.
Well, what I have on my cell phone can prove the handiness, the convenience of what we're talking about. And as a matter of fact, I'm looking at the same thing as your script.
Oh, I
So
see.
only you're reading from a paper. I'm looking at from this screen, the small
see?
screen, right?
There's so
now,
much more technology
after
advanced
I'm reading, I like it. I can send it to any of my friends to share, and then you have to put it in yours. Put yours in the envelope to mail it out. Right?
No, it's also my computer.
My can be received within seconds. You have to wait for 3 more days. Right.
That's it.
So
That's
this is the convenience. All right. And for that, okay, my dear friends, my lovely audiences, let's take a short moment out. We come back to continue. Stay with us. Hello, dear friends, lovely audiences. Welcome back to the show. Jack Chow on the East West Show with G&E TV talking about social media. Social media, by definition, may be a large range. In it, you have all kinds of the social network system there. You have, Twitter, you have WeChat, You have Facebook, you have YouTube, whatsoever, on and on. The list goes so long. With me today is my friend Chris Neby. We're talking about social network. How does it affect our day-to-day life in both ways, in positive way and a negative way, right? So, back to the point I was just making last segment, though, with the efficiency of the social media, things can be done in an unprecedented way, so fast, so effective, right? If I send a message to my friends in the circle, I have a circle, and I'm a member of lots of circles, right? Group, call it group, right? I'm a member of some of the biggest group of 500 to 600 people altogether, right? If I want them to know what we're talking about, I can send this out, and anybody can see it within the blink of eye, like in half a second, as long as my finger moves. That's the convenience, right? However, I shall be held responsible for this information release. Am I right?
No. Who is going to be responsible? This is your opinion, and then somebody else has another opinion, and will counter it. There's no responsibility here. Only if you are like-minded people, some people will say what I'm saying is totally irrelevant and not good, and others will say Neby is great. He says the truth. It's so nobody holds you responsible. You're not breaking any laws.
That part is nothing to criticize or nothing to comment about.
Right.
People do what they want to do, but the thing is that some illegal activities on the WeChat, on the internet, on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, and so on and so forth. And those are the ones that we need to pay attention to.
Yeah, but the question is, who determines what is legal and what is illegal?
Well, there are laws.
Okay,
For example, if somebody posting a picture of a girl, naked or half naked or something, and that's illegal.
No, not half naked or naked is not illegal. Illegal is if she would show her being raped. That's illegal.
Yeah, and of course, and if she is underage, and that's even serious crime.
Okay, but this is
right?
These are then websites which are under-identifiable. Like you heard about this website which was shut down recently because of the shooter in not the shooter, the bomb who sent in the fake bombs from
the
Miami.
tube bomb.
There is sort of a hate website, but that's a different that's another aspect. And you see, I understand that of the internet, only about 10% of the capacity is used, officially used. There is 80 or 90%, which is called the dark internet, which you need to be very smart and technology advanced in order to get in, and that's where you can see a lot of illegal activities. And these illegal activities again are being hidden by websites, which it's not so easy to find who is who. You see. And that is the problem for the law to go after the guys. Eventually they can shut them down, and they do, but it's a tedious work. The internet is, after all, you can be in the internet on an island where there is no law, and you have your website there. And
but you are even if you're in an island, though, if you are using it, you are subject to the laws that the provider is in. For example,
but if the provider is on an island where there are different laws. There are now very strict laws in Europe, for example, against intellectual property theft, but there are very many countries who are famous for not having no restrictions against intellectual property. So I mean, as much as it is a free-for-all, it's a very difficult subject. As long as you are, take Facebook for example, where they took all these information, which let's call it innocent people gave them, and used them and made millions and millions of dollars with it, selling it, information you did not give them a written authority, but by supplying your information, and some people are so stupid they write their whole life story on Facebook.
That's another area. That's another area.
No,
that's the area I insisted people should use their own name to register, right? For example, I registered an address or nickname, right? I have to go along with my, not nickname, my true name, so that I can be held responsible for whatever I say.
Who says so?
Huh?
Who says so?
Well, I believe in China they do that.
Fine, but I'm talking here. No.
Well, I'm talking about we should copy that. If there's anything that bring positive stuff for reference for us, so why don't we hesitate?
Because then, see that again, now you're getting into a legal situation where we are talking about free speech. It's a very complicated issue. And very complicated. Somebody will yell censorship. Others will say this is great. I basically also agree with it because there's an enormous amount of slander on the internet. And you mentioned before that what I have to say about certain Twitter reports from the White House. That goes all hand in hand. It's a very difficult thing, and I think eventually it will take a long time because you have to get about almost 200 nations together to have one constructive law that you cannot do things. That will take decades to do that.
Yeah, that's a lot of giving is.
And
that's
it's also you mentioned the technology is also so advanced that no matter what kind of censorship you have, you can always find a backdoor to get what you want. I can tell you, for example, as a filmmaker, for us, the intellectual property theft has become a huge problem. I'm detecting constantly websites who show my films. We have no contact with them. We didn't get a nickel, and they're showing it in Argentina.
They show your film.
Oh yeah, they show my films, and I don't even know who they are.
Can you find out
There's nothing. All we can do is
put them in court?
No. All we can do is, but you know, there are millions, like for example on YouTube, there are millions. So if you run a check accidentally, actually you see, oh, somebody's showing my film. So if you see it, you can advise YouTube, because in America the copyright enforcement is very strict. You can inform YouTube, and YouTube will then, when you provide them with a copy of the copyright certificate, shut down this website showing that particular film.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that the website continues to show 20 other films which they have illegally acquired, because none of the others come and contact you.
Allow history some time. I believe the copyright issue can be dealt with a simple technology improvement.
I don't think so.
No, yeah, you can. Suppose I check with my son, who is a computer specialist.
Yes.
He says that if you apply for your copyright, for example, at Writers Guild of the United States.
No, you apply for the copyright at the Library at the Copyright Office of the Library of Congress in Washington.
Library of Congress in Washington, all right? And you are given a license, right?
No, you were given a certificate.
You're given a certificate.
You are
You're given the certificate to certify that you are the owner of certain work.
Yes.
All right? this certain work, when you sell it, you sign a contract with somebody, say, I, Chris Nebe, agree for you to sell it, for you to have it.
The copyright.
The copyright, right?
And then you go and...
For that, you, in the very beginning, they would, with the new technology, they would give you a code to access your own work, right? Now, when you're selling the product, you sell the code too. The buyer, when they want to use it, they have to use the code they're giving you, right? And with that code, if the buyer decides to resell your product, which he can in that case, because he is the one authorized, right? Mm-hmm. So it has to go along with the code. In other words, the initial code created by the copyright control shall go all the time.
But that's fine if it works, but we have the same thing because on every film, at the end of every film, there is a copyright notice on every kind of...
Oh, people don't pay attention to that, right?
But they will not pay attention to the code either.
I know. But the thing is that you make it work, you make it effective by using the modern technology. The technology being a code, when a code can take care of the whole thing, why not?
That I don't quite understand, because right now you have a certificate of copyright. And if there's any legal dispute, all you have to do is you call and you send them the copyright certificate, and it's very clear because it's also on the film.
I know.
And the film, when you cut off the copyright, then...
But technically, with a code to go along, to technically allow them to use it.
They're giving you a code now too, already since many times. You get a number. The number which is registered.
And then the other on the other side, the system, the computer or the cell phone or social network system shall recognize the code. If I want to publish your work, I have to give the system your code, or otherwise I can't prove I'm owner of it. Right?
I'm not familiar with this technology. So, as to the best of my knowledge, the creative community has not yet found a solution to protect themselves. The only way I know is if I find a website or an internet provider like YouTube where they show my films, then I can call YouTube, and if I prove to them that I'm the copyright owner, they will shut down this. This is the way we do it. But you see, there are millions of channels, and it's very difficult. When we find something like this, it's all the time accidentally, and it's all over the world.
It is subject to your own finding, right?
Yes.
You have a limited time. You can't visit everybody who is playing. So basically, the best way, the only way, is to have the system do the checking.
Yes, right. That is, if that exists, fine. But right now, I'm not aware of it, and we have to do it. Actually, you're right. We would have to employ somebody who's at least, we have now 20 films of the Mysterious China series, for example, plus a number of other films.
Right now, we're doing the Chinese American Festival.
Yeah.
When you show it on the on theater screen, though, it shows you a sign of their code, right? That's the dragon head or something. Anyway, my dear friend, let's take a short moment out. When we come back, we'll find out, except the code, what else we can do. Stay with us. Hello, my dear friends, my lovely audience. Welcome back to the show. Jack Chow on the East West with my dear friend Chris Nebe, a Hollywood producer. He himself is a writer. We're talking about the fact that social media, while giving us lots of conveniences, though, by shortening our communication time, by making the world even smaller, so on and so forth. Give us some obstacles, some problems, and because the same convenience is provided to plunderers, right, to invaders of your intellectual property. So, in addition to having a code worked out with the system, and then at the other end, we'll make sure the network ends, right? Recognize, insist on having that, and nobody will do you harm, I would say, right? So by then, I would say this thing will happen quite soon. But the only question remains, according to my son, it's not a difficult job. It's an easy job. But why can't they do it now? Is there any profit driven or anything driven?
I have no idea. I don't know about this system, and this you have told me about it before. And I all can tell you that from my humble experience, all we can do is, if by accident we find something, we say we have to go in America. Mm-hmm. Now they have something in Europe. They have they're starting to have laws and do it similar. So after America, now comes Europe, which is doing things like that. And I think eventually, if your son has invented, because this is a very powerful invention, that code system, then good for him and good for us creative people, because we will have again control of our intellectual property, which due to the internet we have completely lost.
And there's also, of course, a social issue, a conceptual issue, right? People need education, and intellectual properties, their work has to be respected. You have to be respectful to them who put up the hard work, writing word by word, right, page by page of the thing that you're enjoying. So give them some respect, right, and your right will be protected.
I heard a number, I'm not sure, but that 52 billion are lost each year for the Hollywood film industry by the illegal distribution and downloading of their films. 52 billion, not million, $billion.
Okay, all right. So for that of course, is quite a loss of revenue, right?
No.
To writer
Yes,
itself,
yeah.
They suffer a lot, because as a writer, I wouldn't wish anything happened to me like that. However, it is deeply rooted in the bottom of your mind, right? We writers are not shown the same respect as actors or actresses.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Okay, now, when you see on the screen, I notice these days, you see the lead actor, the lead actress, the director, and you see list of credit, right? And then you seldom see a big sign, a big font, say screenwriter.
Written by, yeah.
Written by. You don't see that.
No, you do. There are laws. In America, there are laws. In Hollywood, there are laws. And if you have seen that, you must have seen it. You will not see it on a Hollywood film, because on a Hollywood film, there are very clear laws. And I believe that the writer credit has to become, is the third country credit backward. Directed by, produced by, written by.
Yes, yeah.
But that's not at the end, that's in the beginning. So,
yes.
But there are strict laws. But I agree with you that in most countries...
We should do something. We should call something. And I was with Mike Sinfendiffer just now talking about California laws, right?
Yeah.
California being the capital of films, of film productions, why don't we ask our legislature to create a law to have writers recognized?
We have. It's a very clear recognition that the Writers Guild is.
Laws to not allow any film from foreign that doesn't give the writer credit to go on the U.S. screen. To show equal respect, that's my point.
That's fine.
You know my point?
That's fine.
Okay, now,
but
when the whole society educates people in a way like that, when they see boom, written by, boom, screenwriter, ba ba ba, right? Like that. People from baby, gets educated. Oh, he is the one or she is the one who wrote such a wonderful thing. The respect comes from the bottom of the heart, naturally from the body, towards the person who are so creative to give them such a wonderful stuff.
Yes,
with the appreciation, with the respect. That is the foundation.
yes, and that is actually a paradox because you see in the film business, everybody asks for the screenplay, and everything depends on a screenplay.
Yeah.
If you don't have a screenplay, the producer doesn't have a film to produce, and the director doesn't have a film to direct. And I completely agree with you that the writer is everything, and I, as a writer, as a producer, and as a filmmaker, I'm always happy when I am working with my writers who are working with me.
I give you an example. I saw one concert in commemoration of the 100th anniversaries for all the film songs. On the whole stage for the whole night was about 4.5 hours. For the whole night, they sing one after another.
Where was that?
That was in Beijing, right? It's a first film called Butterfly something, right? All the way till the current day, all the film songs, right? And then everybody splendidly dressed, a beautiful extravaganza stage, all right? Spectacular light whatsoever, right? Say, next song, for example, The Butterfly, all right? Sang by Chris Nibby, for example.
Composed by,
by Chris Nibby, right? And Chris Nibby goes there. They say composed by da 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 da. And as for lyric, not a mention.
Oh, I see. But I must tell you that lyrics here are always mentioned.
Of course mention. Not a mention. No mention at all.
But here, yes.
I'm talking about human race, man. I'm talking about human race for the show.
Yes.
You keep fighting me with what is available here in the United States, okay? Yes.
Yes.
I'm talking about there are countries who do not show the respect.
Right. But also in America, you have that problem that actually the writers are always, they're taken for granted. And that is a problem because you see, no screenplay, no film. So now you have a screenplay, you buy the screenplay, and with the purchase of the screenplay, the writer is basically out. He may have some percentage of the net profit, depends on the negotiations, but usually it's a clean cut deal. That's why the Writers Guild has basic numbers, but the power of the Writers Guild has been further diminished in late years because there were strikes and the studios. See, there's another problem. First of all, every day in Hollywood there are minimum of 10,000 screenplays circling around among maybe 1,000 possible buyers maximum. It's not 1,000, it's maybe 500. 10,000 scripts. So the buyers have the luxury to
to be very selective.
be very selective.
Yeah.
So the writer is in a constant
It's a buyer's market.
It's a buyer's market. Has always been, will always be. So the writer is always in the disadvantage. And then the other problem is now a production company buys your script. And now the money man comes in and says, you know what, I would like to make that change. So if the writer, and usually if a writer has written something, he's tired, it's finished.
I am not talking about the fairness of writer getting a certain share or whatsoever.
Yeah.
Which of course I support, right?
Yes.
I'm only use this as an angle to go in. The fact that we do not give enough credit to writer is because that we do not have an education system from the childhood to educate them to respect people of that kind of brain.
Correct.
And then speaking of the internet, if on the internet all people, all users are the kind of people educated in my way, and of course they will get a handshake if they want to steal something, right?
But there's no immediate reaction. It's a very complicated. Sure. It's very, very complicated.
Law can help.
It can help.
Education can help. If I were president of the United States, I were president of the world, though, I will do both hands. Law, education.
That brings me to something which I have said again and again. We need a renaissance of true humanity, because in general, the society is more.
What we are now, there's one show in Las Vegas can describe Zoomanity.
Yeah?
Yeah. There's one show in California called, instead of humanity, Zoomanity. Zoomanity, all right.
Interesting. In Las Vegas.
In Las Vegas. Go see it sometime. Okay, my dear friends, my lovely audience. Oh, even the creation of Zoomanity, for the name only, the guy paid sky high. Because the brain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you talk about that? Yeah, that's the brain. All right. I have a friend who has a CD made, asking me for a title. I gave a title. Title was so beautiful. And then in celebration, she invited everybody, forgot me.
Zoomanity is called in. Where is the show running? In Las Vegas?
In Las Vegas, a big show there.
What hotel? What?
Which hotel? I don't know, but there's one. Zoomanity, one Z.
Very clever. Sure. I like that.
All right, very clever. My dear friend, with that Zoomanity, we wrap up. We're way over time, but I'll ask my editor to do me a favor, cut myself off. Keep him there. All right, my dear audiences, thank you very much for watching. And to Chris, thank you, brother.